We're expecting new information this morning in a deadly shooting.
A shooter opens fire on a crowd.
2 people killed.
We know from the sheriff's department that the gun used was a handgun.
Just before midnight during a party inside of an event hall.
Deputies said Brandon Gonzales caused all of this.
2 people were killed, 14 others were hurt.
So they arrested him.
They pulled out with the guns, and I had my hands in the pocket in my hoodie, and that's when he put the laser on me. I'm like, whoa, like, what's going on? He told me to put my hands down and get on my knees. I was lost.
9 days later, he was out of jail. Charges dropped. Deputies messed up. But for a crime so significant, how is it even possible this kind of thing happens?
I don't understand how me. That's all I keep asking. Is how me? How did I get the blame? Nobody can answer. Well, they couldn't answer for me.
It happens more often than you'd think. The wrong person gets arrested, the person who did the crime is still out there. But just how often is hard to pin down. Vera, an agency that studies arrest trends, says more than 30% of police agencies around the country didn't report any arrest data to the FBI's Uniform Crime Report. And that makes it hard to track down how many arrests stuck and how many didn't.
I do feel like that it's really a lot worse with certain crimes. I think with murder, with things that, are more egregious and people get, society has this emotional reaction. And I think that they want to do something and they want to do it quickly and they want to, wrap it up with a little bow and say, we did it, we arrested this person.
That's basically what happened in Hunt County, Texas. 2 people were killed and at least a dozen more injured during a Texas A&M Commerce off-campus party.
Hunt County investigators were on scene of the shooting in a short time frame and began trying to interview witnesses or victims that were not transported to medical facilities. They, along with agents from the FBI, DPS, CID, Department of Homeland Security, Texas Rangers, and ATF, worked the scene for close to 18 hours, processing the crime scene. The scene itself was horrific.
That's Hunt County Sheriff Randy Meeks, and you heard him mention 7 agencies did their thing for 18 hours to find the bad guy. Gonzales was arrested, charged with capital murder, and given a $1 million bond.
We kept pushing and pushing, and we finally got one tip that led to another, and we were able to come up with the identity of the shooter.
To their credit, the sheriff released Gonzales 9 days after he was cuffed. But they still, more than 3 months later, haven't arrested the person who actually pulled the trigger. What's not so great is that the sheriff won't talk about any of it, the mistake or the actual shooter. We asked 3 times to talk with anyone at the sheriff's office about what leads they have now. All they'd say is they're still investigating.
In my opinion, most of the mistakes are made. Now, I don't think all of them. Most of them are made in earnest. Most of the mistakes, they feel like they're doing the right thing. By not thoroughly investigating and getting it right and making sure that every single thing is done correctly, mistakes can be made, like arresting the wrong individual and then it having a huge impact on their life. And
Tanya Kraft understands. She was a kindergarten teacher charged with 22 counts of child molestation. She won her case, acquitted of all charges, and now is a lawyer who helps people wrongfully accused in investigations.
With the accused, they basically were in this battle for their life, and then they're expected just to move on.
Gonzales has moved from Texas to live with his mother in Florida. He left his girlfriend and kids behind. Now in Florida, he's having trouble getting a job. Employers Google his name and aren't willing to deal with the baggage.
I thought I was gonna get away from all the people coming up to me. I didn't. People come up to me all the time here. I'm like, hey, I know you, or I seen you from the news, or you're the guy from the news.
Google his name, and you'll see pages of articles about the shooting with his mugshot. Of course, those stories miss the very important detail that he ended up not being the shooter. Online, though, his identity will forever be messed up. The media bear some of the blame here. When an official, in this case the sheriff, announces the arrest of a mass shooter, there's no reason not to report it. But when they get it wrong, unraveling all of that is almost impossible. One station reports the arrest, other stations copy it, it gets shared on blogs, so on and so on. Sure, you can change what's on your station's site, but finding all the other places your reporting's been copied and trying to get those changed, almost impossible. The good news is the number of wrongfully arrested being released is going up, and in some cases, that's thanks to activism online. The National Registry of Exonerations says the number of people released after being wrongfully accused has gone up for the past 3 years. It says they spent a combined 22,540 years behind bars for crimes they didn't commit.
I would like for them to reach out to me and just give me really the rundown of why, how it was me, or if someone really did come show my picture. I've been hanging on since day one. You know, I knew what the outcome was gonna be.